Hello and welcome back to the channel, guys. In this video, we are going to implement the edit and delete functionality in our front end. So in this previous video, we have implemented both the APIs for editing and updating the node. In this video, we are going to connect it with the front end, and also we are going to update it from the front end only. So let's dive into it. So guys, I am here in VS Code and VTU8 branch. Okay. Now let's try to run the server first of all. Now we are here, we have implemented that nodes and we are having all the things. Now, first of all, let's try to resolve this issue. What it is saying that JSON methods are not supported into the server components. So what it is saying, let's go to the page, this one. It is saying JSON objects are not supported. Now the error is gone. We cannot directly integrate this JSON, right? We have to wrap it into the paragraph or these things. What we have to do now, we have to provide this edit and delete button over here in each block. That would be the client component because a button is a client component where we pass it to the an onClick function, and this component is a server component. If we make this as a client component, then we cannot fetch all the blocks here only. Okay, then that will be then we have to make this as an API call and we can get the data, but we don't want that. So for that, we can extract this component, okay, and move it to the another file and we can make this as a client component. So we can create a new component in the components directory called log card.tsx. Let's export this one and let's make as a client component. We have to import this node. Okay, so this would be an interface of type this. Okay, so let's export this one from here. Now we are going to import this one from loads. Okay, and let's import the blow card also. Now we are having two issues, but they say the same issue, JSON methods are not supported. Okay, why this issue comes over here? Because in the page.tsx we are getting all the data from this node model, means mongoose model. Okay, and this is not an object. Okay, but for that, so we have to convert it into the object. So what we can do, we can say log data, which would be the type of a node array, and let's json dot parse it. Okay, after the stringifying that. The same thing. Okay, now we can pass the block data over here, and if we go, we don't have any warning and issues. Now let's understand the flow of the program or the application. We will be having both two buttons, edit and delete. Okay, when I click on the edit button, a node model that we have created over the home page, right? This one, not this one, this one will pop up and we will enter the updated title and updated content over here, and we will try to make these changes. Okay, so we have to make this, and in the delete button we can just simple fetch the API for deleting that node and pass the node ID, and we can just directly delete that node. So first of all, try to implement the delete node. That is easy. So inside the flow card, let's give two buttons over here. The first button will be the let's try to first of all delete icon we can pass over here. We can give an on click over here, right? And we can pass the on click and handle delete, and we can pass the blow dot underscore id, right? Now let's try to implement that. It is going to be an function, asynchronous function, right? Which will be having an id which will be type of string. Okay. Now wrap it in the try catch block. If we are having any error, just console the error, and we can just make a request. Okay, exios dot delete request, exios dot delete request, and we can have the API code slash API slash nodes slash that node ID, right? The ID of that node. And if we are having response dot status as 200, we can just simply say toast dot success, the response dot data dot message, and we can refresh that page also. How we can refresh in Next.js using the router dot, we have to get the use router hook over here, which will be coming from the next navigation, right? So router dot refresh simply. And if we are having any error, we will console dot, and we can just close dot error the this like something went wrong, like this. Now let's try to check this one. If I click over here, and you can see node deleted successfully, and we are not having any node. So let's try to add some nodes. First node, first node content. We are having the node created successfully, view all nodes. Now we are having the node. Now let's give an edit button over here. So inside this edit button, what we need, or what we need this dialog, add node dialog, right? So let's copy this one and add it over here. We don't need to provide anything button. We can just simply say, so this is a component for creating the node. We are making this as for the editing node. What we can do, we can pass the ID over here. Okay, for that node. Okay, which would be the blog.id, and we can handle it over here. We can have the process ID, it would be type of ID, and it would be type of string, right? Now if we are having any ID, we can just simply say, if we are having ID, then we can say like edit node, otherwise we can say create node. Similarly for this creating node and editing node, here also we can do the same thing. We can say enter update node, create node like that. And if we are having the say if we are having the ID, then we pass it to the handle edit. Otherwise, handle submit. Okay, we are going to implement the handle edit over here, and we can have the same thing over here. If we are having a yep, the same thing. Okay. Now let's try to implement the handle edit over here. The same thing here, handle edit. This would be an asynchronous operation, and it will have this what it will have the put request, okay, to the slash API to the slash API slash nodes slash the node ID, and we would have the title and content, and we would say node updated successfully, and same as router dot refresh. Let's use the router from the next navigation. Now let's router dot refresh and something like this. Now let's try to check this one also. We are having the edit node button over here. When I click over the edit node, we can pass the edit node like edited node. Content would be updated content like this. And when I click on edit node, we can see node updated successfully. And you can see all the things are updated as of now. So this is how. Now let's improve this UI a little bit. So inside this, we can have this as the class names, as the flex all, gap of 5. Okay. And inside this, uh, in this handle, you can see class name and text dash red. We can have the text red as 600. And inside this node creating model, if we are having the edit node, that what we can show a cross icon, cross icon, and we can rotate it 45 degrees like this. Okay. In the blow card, we can wrap it in the another div and make this as a flex, justify between, and padding of access 12. Now we are having all things. Okay. And let's remove this hover effect from here. Now we can update this node. Now we can delete this node. Now we have successfully implemented the edit and delete functionality in our front end also, and we are hitting that APIs, and we are just updating this node and deleting the node from in our database also. So that's all for this video, guys. All the code will be given in the video aid branch, and the link will be given in the description below. You can check it out. So that's all for this video, guys. I will see you in the next one.